Sarah is a 32-year-old coffee shop owner in Chicago. She buys beans from Colombia, her espresso machine was made in Italy, and she just returned from a vacation in Thailand. Like most Americans, she's never really thought about why she could use dollars everywhere she went, or why her Colombian supplier was happy to accept payment in dollars rather than Colombian pesos. Sarah's about to discover why the US dollar isn't just American money, it's the world's money.
One morning, Sarah's Colombian supplier, Carlos, calls her. "Sara, I need to buy new equipment from Germany," he explains. "And guess what? They want to be paid in dollars, not euros." Sarah is confused. Why would a German company want American dollars? She asks. This is where Sarah's education begins. The US dollar isn't just powerful, it's the undisputed king of global currencies. Approximately 59% of all foreign exchange reserves held by central banks worldwide are in dollars. When countries trade with each other, about 88% of all foreign exchange transactions involve the dollar. Even when Carlos in Colombia trades with someone in Germany, they often use dollars as the middleman. How did we get here? A historical foundation. Sarah learns that the dollar's dominance didn't happen by accident. It started with World War II. While Europe and Asia were devastated by war, America emerged with its industrial base intact and its economy booming. In 1944, representatives from 44 countries met in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, and agreed to peg their currencies to the US dollar, which was itself tied to gold. The dollar became the world's reserve currency, the money that other countries would hold to conduct international trade. Even after President Nixon ended the dollar's convertibility to gold in 1971, the dollar remained dominant. Why? Because by then, the entire global financial system was built around it. It's like how QWERTY keyboards aren't the most efficient layout, but we still use them because everyone learned to type on them. The dollar had become the standard, and switching away would be incredibly costly and complicated.
The petrodollar system. Sarah discovers something fascinating when she fills up her car with gas. That gasoline connects her to one of the dollar's most powerful sources of strength, oil. In the 1970s, the United States made agreements with Saudi Arabia and other oil-producing nations that oil would be priced and sold in dollars. This created what's known as the petrodollar system. Think about what this means. If Japan wants to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, Japan needs dollars. If France wants to buy oil from Kuwait, France needs dollars. Every country that wants to buy oil, which is essentially every country, needs to hold dollars. This creates constant, massive demand for the dollar worldwide. It's as if Sarah owned the only coffee shop in town that accepted a special currency, and everyone who wanted coffee had to get that currency first. That's power. One evening, Sarah watches the news about political instability in another country. She notices something curious. When there's trouble anywhere in the world, the news reports that investors are fleeing to the safety of the dollar. She wonders why. The dollar is considered the world's safest asset, especially during crises. When there's war, economic turmoil, or political instability anywhere on Earth, investors, governments, and ordinary people convert their money into dollars. It's like how in a thunderstorm everyone runs to the sturdiest building. The dollar is that building. Why is the dollar so safe? Several reasons. Political stability. The United States has a stable government with strong institutions, clear laws, and peaceful transfers of power. This makes it reliable. Economic might. The U.S. economy is the world's largest, worth over $27 trillion. It's diverse, innovative, and resilient. When you hold dollars, you're holding a piece of the world's most powerful economy. Military strength. America's military power guarantees its security and its ability to honor its debts. This might seem disconnected from currency, but it matters enormously to people deciding where to store their wealth. Deep financial markets. The U.S. has the deepest, most liquid financial markets in the world. You can buy or sell billions of dollars of assets instantly without moving prices much. This liquidity is invaluable for large investors and governments.
The network effect. Sarah learns about something economists call network effects, the idea that something becomes more valuable as more people use it. Think about social media. Facebook is valuable because everyone is on Facebook. The dollar works the same way. When Carlos in Colombia gets paid in dollars for his coffee beans, he doesn't immediately convert them to pesos. Why would he? He needs to buy equipment from Germany, pay for shipping from international carriers, and purchase raw materials from Brazil, all of which are easier to do in dollars. So he keeps dollars. Then, Germany, Brazil, and the shipping companies all have dollars, which they use for their international transactions. Sarah realizes it's like a language. English is powerful not because it's inherently better than other languages, but because so many people speak it. Once it becomes the global standard, everyone has an incentive to learn it. The dollar has become the world's financial language. What this means for America. Sarah begins to understand the massive advantages this gives the United States. Borrowing power. Because everyone wants dollars, the U.S. government can borrow money at lower interest rates than it otherwise could. Other countries need to hold dollar reserves and buy U.S. Treasury bonds, which means America can finance its debt cheaply. It's like having a credit card with a perpetually low interest rate. Sanctions as weapons. Because international transactions flow through the dollar-based financial system, the U.S. can impose economic sanctions that really bite. If America cuts a country off from the dollar system, that country struggles to trade with anyone. Sarah learns that this is why U.S. sanctions on countries like Iran or Russia are so powerful. They're essentially blocking access to the world's economic infrastructure. Economic flexibility. When there's a crisis, the Federal Reserve can create dollars to stimulate the economy without immediately causing inflation, because those dollars flow out into the global economy. It's like having a pressure release valve. Trade benefits. Americans can buy foreign goods and services in their own currency. Sarah doesn't think twice about her Colombian coffee being priced in dollars, but imagine if she had to convert to pesos for every purchase.
However, Sarah also learns that the dollar's dominance isn't guaranteed forever. China is promoting its currency, the yuan, for international trade. European countries sometimes complain about dollar hegemony. Digital currencies and cryptocurrencies could potentially disrupt traditional currency systems. But here's the thing. Challenging the dollar is incredibly difficult. China's yuan is backed by an authoritarian government that controls capital flows, not exactly attractive for global investors seeking safety and freedom. The euro is fragmented across multiple countries with different economic situations, and cryptocurrencies are volatile and lack the institutional backing of a major government. For now, and likely for many years to come, the dollar remains king. As Sarah closes her coffee shop one evening, she looks at a dollar bill differently. This isn't just American money, it's the oil that lubricates global trade, the safe haven during storms, the standard by which everything else is measured. Every cup of coffee she sells connects her to this massive global system where the dollar reigns supreme. The dollar's power comes from a perfect storm of history, economic might, political stability, military strength, deep financial markets, and network effects that keep building on themselves. It's not just that America has the world's reserve currency. The reserve currency is part of what makes America powerful. For ordinary Americans like Sarah, this means lower costs, easier international transactions, and economic benefits they never see but constantly enjoy. The dollar's power is invisible precisely because it works so well. Like plumbing in a house, you only notice it when something goes wrong.